So if you've been on the fence about watching the Amazon Prime series, The Legend of Vox Machina, or maybe you've just been waiting until you could binge a ton of it all at once, the wait is over. The final 3 episodes of the first season are dropping, and I gotta say, they are an epic conclusion to an already awesome season. We're truly arriving at the climax here, and there is a spectacular boss battle that is massive in scale and it's treacherous with peril. I said in other episodes that it felt like some characters had plot protection to keep them alive, but in these final episodes, all that just seems to go out the window, and it's anybody's guess if every one of our heroes is going to survive. Percy's storyline has been building as the group works to defeat the Briarwoods, and this finale, it does not disappoint. I loved how answers and explanations are given for what's been affecting Percy since we saw it emerge in episode 3 also. That dark smoke that surrounds him as he puts on that plague mask finally gets some details, and I love how much information goes into providing it. And the reveal doesn't feel cheap at all, and every bit of my investment in his character finally pays off. But along with Percy, there are some wonderful hero moments. Not like we haven't had any of before in the series, but there were a couple that just gave me chills as I watched. The culmination of emotion and action, I thought it was captivating and had me really on the edge of my seat. I think there are opportunities for each of the members of Vox to have a moment where they shine and take the spotlight, and that felt earned and placed at natural points for each of them. Keyleth has always seemed cool to me, but her meekness and uncertainty in her own abilities also makes her a wild card at how effective she can be when the moment counts. Now, I absolutely loved her in this and what she gets to do. The animation is still phenomenal to look at, but it's really the story and how it's relayed by the voice cast that makes this so amazing. And the humor is dialed back in these, but it's not absent. There are small chuckles here and there that come from well-placed sarcastic remarks, and they were used sparingly enough to be really effective. Now, each week, I'm continuing to really enjoy Scanlan's progression. He's transitioning from a one-track crass behavior to a more mature and complex hero, who is still a bit crass. And because of his growth, I'm way more willing to endure any immature humor because it's only one small feature of the character rather than the defining one. I'm really impressed that the story that's been building, especially surrounding the Briarwoods, isn't just cleanly over and done with. While their arc may have a resolution, there's still the aftermath that has to be dealt with. Now, I know the next season is going to transition somewhat to a new arc, but the fact that pieces of this first storyline can continue on, it really has me anticipating what the next season is going to bring. I'm also excited for how the Briarwood storyline will affect our characters and how often that it will intersect with any new arc that comes along. These last 3 episodes were surprisingly emotional for me. And it makes sense, because the stakes were just so high for so many of the characters. I guess it just really did surprise me, though, at how invested I had become with the players. Over the course of this series, they went from just being animated ruffians to full-blooded heroes that I didn't want to be harmed. My adrenaline started to rise during the boss battle, and that takes up nearly the entirety of the 11th episode. But that doesn't mean that the final episode is just a filler and fluff story. There is so much that gets unpacked in the finale, and it gets pretty emotional too. And for fans of the brutal violence, there is still a ton of that throughout these last episodes. Blood flows, and there are some surprising kills. Well, at least they were surprising to me, but I don't think that they're ever gratuitous. The brutality fits well within the narrative, and it's just the right amount. Sometimes it's even happening with a touch of silliness. Now, I know that the second season is already locked and confirmed, but I'm so excited for it to arrive. The final moments of this first season just leave us at an exciting climax, but not a frustrating cliffhanger where things aren't resolved. Story elements just are converging in those last moments to set us up for something awesome and probably brutal in the next season. So overall, I really had fun with this show. The characters are varied and complex with characteristics that make them relatable at times and even somewhat repulsive at others. The storylines are mature and well-developed, making this animated series one that I looked forward to seeing the new episodes week after week. The character progressions and hero moments feel earned and natural, solidifying why they can all be considered heroes when the need arises. Now, if you haven't started watching this yet, binge the crap out of it now. Each of these 12 episodes are just under 30 minutes, so if you're doing the whole thing start to finish, it is going to take you a bit, but you'll have a smile on your face the whole way through. There's no sex, some nudity, a ton of profanity, and almost non-stop violence. I give episodes 10 through 12 of The Legend of Vox Machina 4.5 out of 5 couches. So who's your favorite character? I think after these episodes, Keyleth is mine, but I'd love to know yours in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.